What is up, gamers? Today I'm going to be talking about a new deck idea I had built around Ladislava. So, Ladislava is the new Nectar stride. What it does is act once per turn, discard a card, choose one of your rear guards, and depending on that rear guard's grade, you search your deck for... And depending on that unit's grade, you search your deck for 2 units with the same grade, and you can either call them both or call one and add the other to hand. So that one skill gives Nectar so much access to a bunch of cards in the deck and makes a lot of strategies a lot more consistent because you're able to target search out the cards you need. Her second skill is on attack Counterblast 1. If you have 2 or more rear guards with the same name, then you can stand 2 of them. So this allows you to basically get 5 attacks by herself, while also being able to search whatever cards you need. So the card's very strong. Just Nectar as a whole, like the main deck is not that good. They need upgrades on everything, which that's the one thing this year has been doing pretty well for Nectar, which is giving them really good cards. So we got Cecilia Reverse in the last clan collection, we're getting this in premium collection, and then we're getting the new Gladiol Dragons the next clan collection. So having access to all of these new cards is giving Nectar a way to slowly come back as a okay deck. Do I think it's ever going to be tier 1? Not really right now. The deck doesn't do enough, and all the things the decks do are pretty samey. But this is a very good start on getting us back in it without needing to unban Katrina. So what are we doing with Ladislava to make it good? We are using... So if you don't know, Enos is on play, Vanguard or Rearguard, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then call one from among them, and then shuffle the rest. And if you have a duplicate of the unit called already in play, then you get to draw a card. That effect's alright, but it's not the main thing for this card. It's mainly for her second skill, which is Vanguard Rearguard. When your other rearguard is placed by your card's ability, she gains plus 5k until end of turn. So why is this good? Offensively, it's okay. You can call out a bunch of things, but the main priority for this is doing the opponent's turn. So we utilize a G-Guard like Rainbreath Dragon, who... Whenever you guard with it, you basically get to guard with a card. Well, call a card from your hand, and then you usually call something that calls more stuff. So off one G-Guard, you can start getting Enos very big defensively during the opponent's turn. So a lot of our card choices are built off this combination, and why Ladislava makes this work is because the main issue the deck had was consistently seeing the pieces it needs to be able to G-Guard into good things all the time. Because a lot of the times you'd either have cards you'd like to call off your G-Guard, or you'd like to have the heal to G-Guard in the first place. So Ladislava and the grade 3 heal triggers make this a lot more consistent and being able to get this combo off a lot easier. So probably the best card to pair with Enos is Wisteria. So on play, Counterblast 1, ditch 1, call 2 plant tokens, then choose one of your other units, and search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as it, and add it to your hand. And then on attack, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units, and all of the same named units gain 5k. If he's on Vanguard, then 10k. So if you G-Guard with Rain Breath while you're on Enos and call Wisteria, Wisteria will discard 1, call 2 plant tokens, you get to add another Enos back to your hand or whatever other unit you end up having. And then in the process, because you call the 2 plant tokens with it, you called 3 things this turn. So Enos becomes base 28k during the opponent's turn, which is very fucking big. A lot of decks struggle being able to push past that. So yeah, this combination just makes it super consistent on being able to defensively be what you want to be at, while also being able to keep fetching Enos's as either stride fodder or call fodder. You can also call Enos off a G-Guard, because Enos will call something, and then something you call can typically call another thing. So it starts like chaining into a bunch of calls. So yeah, very good combination, and Ladislava just makes this all the more consistent. Next one, Usurper Dragon. So our main target is grade 3 because we run the grade 3 heals, and we want to be able to search Wisteria and the heals. So having a Usurper Dragon with Ladislava, so you can just stride into Ladislava every turn, revive Usurper Dragon, and then target the Usurper to search for Wisteria, your heals, your Enuses, whatever you need. And then the last card is something spicy I've been trying, is 3 Cecilia Reverse. This is another reason we could run Usurper, is for the Cecilia Reverse combo. So on attack, on Vanguard, Countless 1, retire 2, check top 5, call 2. By herself, she becomes a 5 attack deck. But we don't use her for being a Vanguard, we use her as a rear guard. So on Vanguard, a front row rear guard, once per turn at end of battle, your rear guard of Cecilia that was called from deck attacked a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. That was a lot of words. But you Counterblast 1, lock 2 standing units, and then restand her. If you locked a front row, or if you have a locked front row, then bind her. Then if you have a Musketeer Vanguard, re-ride her. So the re-ride we basically never use in here. We use her specifically as a restander herself. So one of the big things with this is we needed a unit to call off Ladislava. We can't add both cards to our hand. We have to call with this. And an idea I had was Musketeer Reverse, Cecilia Reverse can be a self-sufficient restander. So you basically get 4 attacks, assuming you don't do Ladislava's second skill. Just because Cecilia Reverse is a generic restanding rearguard, basically. As long as you keep calling it out from deck, which Ladislava will do. And then with Usurper Dragon, if you want to go for like the superior ride play, then that is still an option. But most of the time you want to sit on Enos, have a really strong defense with G-guarding into a Wisteria, and then you call Cecilia Reverse off Ladislava next turn, and then you have a really big beater. Or you can call 2 Cecilia Reverses off Ladislava, so then you can do both of their skills. Either way, this is how you get pressure in this build, is through Cecilia Reverse. Next we shall move on to grade 2s. So first we have 3 Augusto. So on call to rearguard or Guardian Circle, retire 1 or more back row rearguards, and it gets 5k power and shield for each one retired. If you retire 2 or more for its cost, put 2 normal Musketeer units from your drop to the bottom and then draw 1. So the first thing to think about with Augusto is he does not require you to require a Musketeer Vanguard. And the other thing is that we want to be able to keep Cecilia Reverses in our deck at all times for Ladislava to be able to continuously grab them, right? So Augusto allows you to keep putting reverses back into your deck while maintaining hand size. And the other thing is that it fuels your drop, which I will talk about a bit later, but that is pretty important also. Next, 3 Elenia. So this is another solid call target off Rain Breath. So you G-guard into Rain Breath, then you call Elenia off it, you do Elenia skill, call like a Maiden of Sweetberry, and then you basically still have the same outcome as Wisteria, but this time you're able to get a grade 2 on the field that you can intercept with the meaty. You can also do Elenia, call Augusto from drop, and then do Augusto skill, blow up some back row, and then gain shield, and then shuffle and draw, or bot deck and draw some cards. So you're able to cycle through your deck a little bit better. So while Augusto is able to gain more shield if you're just trying to guard one big attack. So yeah, Elenia is very solid. And then 1 Maple, basically the same reason as Usurper, as being able to call it, and then you can Ladislava target Maple. it's also just like another unit you could call to potentially lock off Cecilia Reverse. The main difference with this though is Maple only works in ride phase, so it doesn't replace Usurper in like the Musketeer build where you're trying to loop superior rides constantly. But it's still just a free unit that comes into play that you can utilize. And now the spiciest thing in here is 3 Nectar of Sensationalism. So the big issue with this type of build going around Enos is that it really lacks pressure. The deck doesn't have enough pressure to be able to consistently close out games. So the idea of this is Nectar combined with Cecilia Reverse is a very strong duo. Because if you get to 15 and drop, and let's say you have 1 force marker on the rear, then you can do Ladislava, call Cecilia Reverse on the force marker, so that's base 23, and then you Nectar with 15 and drop, and then it becomes a 38k 2 crit that can potentially swing up to 3 to 4 times. And then you will typically stack your triggers from Ladislava onto the Cecilia Reverse to be able to pressure. The other option you can do with this is instead cut the reverses and cut Nectars and just put in Martinas. The only issue with Martina is that it doesn't work well with Ladislava by itself, because typically you want to call 1 and then add a heal or a Wisteria to hand. But Martina, you would want to call 2 Martinas so then you can restand them off Ladislava. So this gives you a little bit more wiggle room on how you want to search with your Ladislava, while also being able to commit into a really strong pressure turn. And the other one is 2 Hendrina. So we only care about the first effect, which is on place from rearguard. On play on rearguard, you mill 3, which just accelerates on Nectar a little bit more. I only have it at 2 because it literally does nothing other than that. So you can like, it's also like a self-retire you can do. So if you're trying to hyper mill as much as possible, you can call Hendrina, mill 3, then do its skill to retire itself, then call Alania skill, call back Hendrina, mill another 3. You can also call Hendrina in the back row, use a Gusto, pop the Hendrina, and then be able to get advantage off a Gusto. It can also become a lock target with Cecilia Reverse, where you just call in the back row and lock it. So yeah, Hendrina, there's a few ways you can deal with it. It's just an on-play mill 3 in here right now, and I'm sure there's probably something better you could put in here, but I just want to accelerate to Nectar as fast as possible, while still being able to maintain card advantage without doing a bunch of dumb shit to get to that point, like calling over things. That's it for grade 2s. For grade 1s, pretty simple. For Padmini, we are a grade 3 reliant deck, and we want to see our grade 3s as much as possible. If we don't ride Enos or potentially Cecilia Reverse, we just lose the game. So Padmini being able to help us dig for all of our pieces is very huge. The only thing we don't want to add to hand is Cecilia Reverse. If we add Usurper, we just ditch it. If we add Wisteria, we G-Guard into Rain Breath and call into it. If we hit a heal, then we're able to G-Guard, and then Enos is our ride target. So Padmini is pretty staple in here since we are super reliant on seeing all of our grade 3. For Maiden of Sweetberry, so this deck can struggle with Soul a bit, and through Enos and potentially Alania on blowing our Soul very hard. So Sweetberry is a nice way to refuel our Soul, and it's also a 13k beater in the once we hit grade 3, and it calls a token. So you can G-Guard into a Sweetberry, and then it's a plus 10k boost for Enos, so you're base 23 for the turn. It's also a good call target for Alania during the opponent's turn whenever you G-Guard, so then it converts it into a 28k base. And then the last one is 3 Ruth. There is a lot of CB issues with the deck, because Enos's on-ride is a counterblast, Wisteria on-call is a counterblast, Cecilia Reverse is a counterblast, Ladislava's on-attack skill is a counterblast. So we want to be able to refund a bit of our counterblast, and since we're not running a Musketeer package, we can't use a lane consistently. So we have to use Ruth. So Ruth can give you a token whenever you ride into it, but it also countercharges whenever you call from deck, which every turn you will be calling from deck with Ladislava. And it's also a Musketeer name for Augusto to be able to send back. So that is all for grade 1s. For grade 0s, it's a pretty self-explanatory lineup. We run a V starter. It's the Musketeer one specifically, because we need extra Musketeers for Augusto to consistently send back. So this puts us at 10 normal unit Musketeers, which has been enough for Augusto to consistently go off. OT, it could be Bless Favor, it could be this. I just don't have a Bless Favor, so that's why I run the Cray Elemental one right now. It's OP, ban it, please, Bushy Road. For Heal Guardians, it has to be the grade 3. It has to be the grade 3. Which, there is very little reason to run a grade 0 one anyway. But the grade 3 Heal Guardian is super important in here because Ladislava wants to target grade 3s to be able to search. So then you can hit your Cecilia reverses, add your Wisterias, add your heals. It's just super important on being able to get to that point and be able to consistently get your heals. Because without our heals, our defensive plays don't do anything. We literally just die because we typically have a smaller hand since Nectar doesn't generate a lot of advantage. So we make up for the lack of advantage by being a really high base power during the opponent's turn. That's why we are completely fine riding up if we go first and giving the opponent first stride, because if we have a heal and let's say a Wisteria in hand, we're base 28k on the big turn, which is very fucking big. It's like we hit 1.5 damage triggers. So, and then the grade 3 turn isn't even that bad anyway, because you can like ride Enos, call Sweetberry on, and have the plant token on the force marker, and have that as a column. So then you swing for 23 Vanguard, 28 Rearguard, and you can like put some pressure like that. But either way, grade 3 heals are the way to go. 4 Stride Fodder crits and 3 Happy Luckies. So Stride Fodder crits, we want to preserve our grade 3s in our hand. So having more of these to be able to stride with is very important. Happy Lucky, it's just the best crit we could run in this spot because we want more crits so then we can pressure a lot easier. Very easy lineup for it. And then 4 draw PGs. This could technically be a crit null. It could be 4 crit nulls, so then you run 11 crit. But draw PGs, we literally do not add cards to our hand. Ladislava does not add us cards to our hand because we have to discard 1 for the cost. So we discard 1 and then search 1. So we still call 1, but typically we'll call like Cecilia Reverse. And then Cecilia Reverse becomes basically a dead card at the end of that turn. And we have to cycle it back in. So we never add cards to our hand. Wisteria is a discard cost to add the hand. Augusto just replaces itself. Enos just replaces itself. So nothing generates us raw card advantage to our hand. So draw triggers are a good way to like restabilize if we start like running low on resources mid and late game. And then PGs are just really good. But you can also run crit nulls here if you're wanting to put more pressure, because typically what will happen is you will swing with the Cecilia reverse you called from deck and not do its skill. Then you do Ladislava and then stand your Cecilia reverses and then stack all of your triggers on the one you called from deck. And then you still have that Cecilia reverses restand skill afterwards. So it swings with the trigger effects twice. So that's why these being crit nulls can be really big, because this deck lacks pressure. Its big pressure turn is through Reverse and Nectar, but that is very lackluster compared to what other decks can do. So having crit nulls to being able to put your opponent at a higher damage quicker or make our Cecilia reverses more threatening is very big. So that's like the main thing with this deck. My G-Zone I don't have completed right now, but it's basically 4 Ladislava, 2 of this, and 2 of the new G-Guard, and you're good. You basically never stride into anything else other than Ladislava for my testing online. So that is basically it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, comment down below. I have been really enjoying this deck. It's been super fun. I don't know if it's the best Neo Nectar build just yet, because Musketeers got a lot stronger through Ladislava also, but it definitely has very high potential on being able to do well depending on how refined it gets. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.